Yai-da-dai. Yai-da-da-da-da. 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 You've got the melody. Let's add the words. They can be found on page 128 in your prayer book. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. How good, how wonderful, how pleasant, how sweet, how fill in the blank for your synonym for good it is to be together this evening, welcoming in Shabbat. We sing Hine matov together. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Yanai, yanai, nai, yanai, yanai, nai, yanai, yanai, nai, yanai, nai, yanai, nai, yanai, yanai, nai, yanai, yanai, nai, yanai, yanai, nai, yanai, nai, yanai, nai, yanai, yanai, nai, ai, 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 yanai, ai, ai, yanai, nai, nai, nai. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Yai, 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 yanai, yanai, nai, yanai, yanai, nai, yanai, yanai, nai, yanai, nai, yanai, nai, yanai, yanai, nai, yanai, yanai, nai, yanai, yanai, nai, yanai, nai, yanai, nai, yanai, yanai, nai, ai, 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 yanai, yanai, nai, yanai, nai, nai, nai. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom.
And of course, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
It is wonderful to be back at UH. We'll hear a little bit of where I was in just a moment once we get to our sermon slot. But it's great to be together, whether we're here in person celebrating Shabbat or whether you're joining us, as I like to say, through the magic of the internet. It's good to come together to have this moment of Shabbat rest, renewal, and of course, Shabbat joy as well. As we begin our service, just in case, if you notice in the bottom of your prayer book, at the bottom of the page, that there are two sets of numbers, we'll be using the larger numbers in the brackets in blue ink. And as we begin every Shabbat, we'll begin on page 121 and 120 with our Shabbat blessings of lighting candles and our Kiddush. And for that, I'm excited to invite back to the Bima Ophir, who has spent 2 weeks away, or 2 months, not 2 weeks, 2 months away at summer camp and is back now with us for one more Shabbat before he returns to Israel. And coming up with him is also Michael Laurie, who is one of the host families for which and without whom we couldn't have our Shin present. And so on page 121, Michael, I'll ask you to start for us.
Sure.
Get the mic for you. I always forget the microphone. There you go.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we live our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light.
And as we light our candles, I'll invite Ophir to lead us in our blessing. Please join with us.
ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר קידשנו במצוותיו, וציוונו להדליק נר של שבת. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, who sanctifies us with mitzvot and commands us to kindle the lights of Shabbat.
Of course, the last English reading that I have you do is probably the hardest words that you've done in English all year. But well done. And I'll invite now everyone to please rise as we prepare for our Kiddush. And Michael, I'll have you again lead us in our reading.
And there was evening and there was morning, the sixth day. And the heaven and the earth were finished, and all their array. On the seventh day, God finished the work that God had been doing, and God ceased on the seventh day from all the work that God had done. And God blessed the seventh day and declared it holy, because on it God ceased from all the work of creation that God had done.
We sing together on page 123. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uv'ratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila lemikrae kodesh zecher litziat mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava u'veratzon hinchalatanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. Amen.
L'chaim, l'chaim. And before I have you sit, and before Ophir I have you sit down, what I'm actually going to have you do is come stand over here between Michael and me, and we're going to offer you a special prayer, a special blessing. This is the traveler's prayer as you're preparing to go back to Israel and continue on your journey there as well. And so this blessing not only comes from me, but comes from all of us here at UH as we offer you this wonderful blessing. Yehi ratzon milfanecha Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu shetolichenu l'shalom v'tatzidenu l'shalom v'tadrichenu l'shalom v'tismechenu l'shalom v'tagienu limchoz cheftzenu l'chaim u'l'simcha u'l'shalom. May it be your will, Adonai, our God and God of our ancestors, that you lead us, and particularly Ophir, toward peace, direct our footsteps toward peace, guide us and support us toward peace, and ensure that we and you reach your desired destination in life, in joy, and in peace. May you rescue us from every enemy and ambush, from all danger along the way, and from all manner of punishments that assemble to come to earth. O God, may you send blessing through the work of our hands, through the work of Ophir's hands, and grant us all grace, kindness, and mercy in your eyes, O God, and in the eyes of all who see us. May you hear the sound of our humble request, for you hearken to the prayers of all creation. Blessed are you, Adonai, who hears our prayer, and together we say, Amen. And we wish you a safe and wonderful journey. Toda Rabbah from all of us for all that you've done this year. It's been amazing, and we will miss you so very much. So let's send warmth to Ophir, and thank you, Michael. And everyone, you may be seated. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention, you can be seated. Ophir also has a book that's sitting out on the podium that as you came into the sanctuary, that on your way out, if you want to write him a message, write him a note, please do that. It's something that he gets to take home with him, and so it's a wonderful way to express that gratitude that we have for him and for all that he's done. Okay. Shabbat Shalom. Yep. Unlike Ophir, who spent 2 months there, I spent the last 2 weeks at one of my favorite places in the world, Jewish summer camp. For me and for Ophir, that's our regional URJ camp, Goldman Union Camp Institute, lovingly called Gucci. Every summer that I get to return to camp, it's an eye-opening experience and a vibrant reminder of what community can look like and the brilliant light that is and that fosters Jewish identity, Jewish pride, and Jewish joy. As in past years, I was at camp for just the final 2 weeks of the summer. And I'll tell you, those final 2 weeks are hard. While the campers are just hitting their stride at the 2-week mark, the counselors and staff have been there and been together for nearly 8 weeks already. They are exhausted dealing with what we call camp crud, and often a bit on edge, easily frustrated, let's say, especially with one another. So when I arrive at camp and I ask the counselors and the unit heads, how are things going, I invariably get a same response. Camp is great. The campers are having an amazing time. And now that that's out of the way, let me tell you everything that's annoying me right now. While I certainly don't say this to them, I actually find this response hilarious. I'm not trying to be dismissive of it. It's hilarious because it's so obvious and so consistent. Every year, they know that the 7-week slump is going to hit. Every year, they try to prepare for it, and every year, it happens anyways. In a weird way, however, that's the best part. If you're confused, that's because it doesn't make a ton of sense. But let me switch perspectives and tell you what I see when I get to camp each summer. Every year when I arrive, I have a similar reaction as do the counselors and staff. Camp is great. The campers are having an amazing time. The staff is awesome. They're killing it. And there are always little things that we can continue to work on and improve. But, most importantly, the core of camp, the Kehillah Kedoshah, the sense of holy community, stays the same. It's all about perspective. They, the staff, have been there for 8 weeks, whereas I'm arriving with fresh eyes. They're lost in the trees, while I'm seeing and able to admire and appreciate the incredible beauty of the forest. They've turned their attention temporarily to the negative, the curses perhaps. Yet I just want to experience and lift up the blessings, all the great things about Jewish summer camp. Perspective. Of course, this is a common human experience. When faced with a choice, when placed before an experience, we have a tendency to be pushed to the extremes, succumbing to the binary. And naturally, and even evolutionarily advantageously, we often veer into the negative. This week's Torah portion, Re'eh, and the book of Deuteronomy as a whole, even tends to follow this normal human inclination. Parshat Re'eh begins, "See, I set before you this day blessing and curse. Blessing if you heed the commandments, and curse if you do not heed the commandments, but turn from the path that I command you this day to follow other gods whom you do not know." This statement would seem to buy into the binary, blessing or curse, good or bad. And even more so, by encouraging us to choose the good, to choose blessing, the Torah conversely, though unintentionally, draws our attention, our focus towards the bad, towards the curse. In other words, we are encouraged to remember the bad consequences so that we choose the good instead. This is even more clear when the actual blessings and curses are spoken in Deuteronomy chapter 28. In that chapter, God and Moses devote 14 verses to blessings. 14. But nearly 4 times as many, 55 verses, to the curses. This is seeing the trees rather than the forest. But I would suggest that Judaism and the Torah actually want us to see this and to see in a different way, from a different, less fixed, more nuanced, realistic, and hopeful perspective. By saying, "See, I set before you this day blessing and curse," I do not believe God intends us to treat this as a binary, as a choice of good versus evil, blessing versus curse. Rather, God is saying, "See, I set before you blessing and curse, both, all, the whole shebang." You don't actually get to choose between them. You've got to deal with both of them. That's life. The real choice, as I read it at least, becomes how we see them. Blessing and curse and everything in between. We don't get to choose, but we can choose what to focus on. We don't get to decide what we experience, what life or other people, for that matter, throw at us. But we can choose how we act and how we react in and to those moments. And at times, we might, perhaps we will, choose wrong. But there are lots of opportunities on our path through life. But it begins with perception, with recognizing and seeing the full beauty, the nuance and messiness of our experience, our world. Life is not a binary. It's not a choice of good or bad, positive or negative, joyous or depressing, fun or boring. The best part is that it's all of these at the same time. And the beautiful part is that we get to learn, grow, and continue to choose what we focus on as we try, fail, and try again to build a richer and more meaningful life for ourselves and for those around us. And I do have to say, even when we're stuck in the negative and we can't see the good we're creating, it is still there. The forest is still blossoming, blooming, and growing ever more beautiful. This is what I see clearly at camp each summer. Even as the counselors were struggling in that 7-week slump, the campers were not only having an amazing time, but learning and doing amazing things. This particularly stood out for me when it comes to services. At Gucci, every cabin leads a service, and each camper writes a service part. While I saw it with many cabins, one cabin in particular struggled to write their service parts. Their counselors were frustrated because they knew that it mattered, but while they focused on and apologized for how long it took for the campers to write their parts, everyone wrote a part. Then, every camper in that cabin at their service stood up and talked about how proud they were to be Jews. How proud they were to be Jewish. How much camp and their counselors have impacted them. How at home over the year they sometimes feel alone for being Jewish, not being like everyone else. But that every year they come back to camp and they are reminded of the power and importance of Jewish community. They are reminded of how excited they are to bring that energy back home with them. And they're reminded of how much they look forward to sharing that and creating that same Jewish joy for the next generation of Jewish campers. That's the forest. That's what those camp counselors are doing. They're doing the sometimes backbreaking, usually difficult, but always rewarding job of planting seeds, pruning weeds, and caring for the next generation of the Jewish people. And every year, as week 7 turns to week 8 and the end of camp approaches, the entire camp comes together and remembers that holy perspective. May we too embrace this holy perspective, this perspective on perspective. And may we allow it to energize us and uplift us this year, in the new year, and every year. And so I wish us all Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
As I hope we welcome in the joy that those campers expressed at being Jewish, so too will we welcome in the Sabbath bride with the Chadodi on page 138.
Lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad hishmiyaru el hameyuchad Adonai echad u'shmo echad leshem u'tiferet ve'letchila lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha ki hi mekor habracha merosh mekedem nesucha sof ma'aseh b'machshava tchila. Lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala
Please
penei Shabbat nekabela. Boi v'shalom ateret ba'ala gam b'simcha u'b'tzola toch emunei am segula boi kala lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. And as we welcome in this presence of Shabbat, the Sabbath bride, we hope that the presence joins us with peace. So we will sing Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. It goes like this. Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Malachei Sodi, Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat, Nekabela.
And as we've welcomed in Shabbat, it is time for us to begin our service with our call to worship, the Baruch Hu, on page 146.
Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Do you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed, le'olam va'ed. Yadadai-dai-dai, 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 yadadai-dai-dai.
We turn to page 150 as we read together in the English. Everlasting love you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we'll meditate on your laws and your commandments. We'll rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. And on page 152, we join in the watchword of our faith, Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
You may be seated as we join together on page 154, chanting Ve'ahavta.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
And on page 157 at the top of the page, standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot. Together, wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there, except by joining hands, marching together. And so we sing as the Israelites did so long ago, our Song of Freedom, Mi Chamocha, on page 158.
Yai lai lai, yai da 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 da, yai da 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 da, yai da da, yai da 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 da, yai da da da, ya da 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 da. There is a really quick clap in there. See if you can get it this time. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha ne'edar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef ele, nora tehilot osef ele. Try it again, mi chamocha. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha ne'edar, clap, clap, nora tehilot osef ele, nora tehilot osef ele. Malechutecha ra'u vanecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, zeli anu ve'ameru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Mi chamocha, sing it out. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha ne'edar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef ele, nora tehilot osef ele, nora tehilot osef ele.
And as we turn to page 160, we join in singing a prayer of protection, asking God to watch over us as we lie down and wake up to life renewed.
Ashkiveinu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamideinu shomreinu lechayim. Hashkiveinu, Hashkiveinu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamideinu shomreinu lechayim. Spread the shelter of your peace. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us in wisdom, compassion, and trust. Hashkiveinu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamideinu shomreinu lechayim. Save us. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Hashkiveinu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamideinu shomreinu lechayim, lechayim, lechayim. We sing to life, lechayim, lechayim.
And even in the midst of our service, we continue to think about Shabbat and celebrate it as best we can. And so we turn to page 162 and we sing together, Vishamru.
Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et hashabat la'asot et hashabat ledorotam berit olam uvayom hashvi'i shavat vayinafash shavat vayinafash Shabbat vayinafash v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et hashabat la'asot et hashabat ledorotam berit olam ledorotam berit olam.
And as we turn to page 164, I invite you to rise if you are able, as we join together in our tefillah.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Page 166. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim Ve'konei Hakol Ve'zocher Chastei Avot Ve'imahot Umevi Geula Livnei V'neihem Lema'an Shemo Be'ahava Melech Ozer Umoshia Umagen Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Vezrat Sarah. Page 168. Atah Gibor Leolam Adonai, Mechaye HaKol atah Rav leHoshia, Morid Hatal, Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed, Mechaye HaKol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim verofeh cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato lishanei afar, Michamocha ba'al gevurot, Umidomelach, Melech memit umechaye umatzmiach Yeshua v'ne'eman ata lechayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai mechaye hakol. Page 170. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh u'kadoshim b'chol yom yahalelucha selah Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh.
You may be seated. On page 173, we read together at the top of the page. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. And we turn to page 177. As we offer a prayer of gratitude, I invite you to draw to mind those things from this past week that you want to say thank you for which you're grateful and which you're holding with you as you move into Shabbat. And we read together at the top of the page. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'el lehodot. And on page 179, we join in this prayer of peace that asks for peace for us as individuals, as a community, for our country, and for the whole world. And we join together. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us a will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamivarech et amo Yisrael, ba'ashalom. And as we're in this section of our service, we call to mind those things and those pieces of our life that are so important to us and we hold in our hearts. And so as we offered that prayer for peace, that prayer for our country, so too do we offer a prayer for the state of Israel. This one not found in our book, but written by our very own Eva Ashner. Thank you, Adonai, for granting Israel the courage, the strength, and the power to defend her borders and her people. May the country continue to flourish. May Israel and we never give up Hatikva, the hope that the day will come when Israel will be at peace with her neighbors. And may Israel always exist as a homeland for the Jewish people, to which we say, Amen. And we turn our thoughts perhaps closer to home, to our loved ones, those in our community, and those truly everywhere who need prayers of healing and of health, whether of body, mind, or soul. If you're thinking of a loved one for whom they could use a prayer of healing, I invite you to rise in this moment. And as one community, I invite you to share their names out loud that our prayers might join together. You may be seated. We turn to page 371 and join in our prayer of healing, Mi Sheberach.
Mi Sheberach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi Sheberach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
We truly wish those in need of healing a refuah shlema, a return to wholeness and health. So too in this moment do we pause for the prayers of our heart, and I invite you to please pray silently.
יהיו לרצון אמרפי והגיון ליבי לפניך. יהיו לרצון אמרפי והגיון ליבי לפניך. אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי וגואלי. אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי וגואלי. יהיו לרצון אמרפי והגיון ליבי לפניך. יהיו לרצון אמרפי והגיון ליבי לפניך. אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי וגואלי. אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי וגואלי.
Board representative to lead us or to share with us the announcements.
Shabbat shalom.
Welcome. My name is Bob Daniel, and I'm a member of UH Board of Trustees. Thank you tonight for the dessert Oneg sponsors. We have thank you to Alan and Romy Scobin in honor of their 49th anniversary. We just celebrated our 48th, so congratulations. Thank you to Sandy and Susan Becker in honor of Sandy's 85th birthday. Happy birthday, Sandy. And thank you to the Steyer family in memory of our mother and Bubby Lenny Nieder. So sorry for your loss. I always offer food to the police officer who's out in the lobby, and I always say to them, if you ever stop me, just remember that I offered you food, okay? So anyway, I got to talking to the policeman, I believe his name is Ryan, and I told him that I'd be offering him some dessert tonight too, so I said, remember my face. Okay. Anyway, tomorrow at UH, there's Torah study at 9 a.m. in the Spielberg Chapel and on Zoom, and an informal Shabbat morning service at 10 a.m. in the Spielberg Chapel. And upcoming events, the High Holiday Choir rehearsals with Greta in the Spielberg Chapel on Sundays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. The next two sessions are August 9th and 13th. Please see the UH calendar for all dates. You can register all online for upcoming Elul programs. Join Rabbi Rosenberg for Etz Chaim, Cultivating the Tree of Life, an Elul journey to the High Holy Days. The first of two sessions is Saturday, August 15th from 12:30 to 2 in the Millstone Library. Between the Trees, an LO family program geared for families with children in grades K through 5 will take place on Sunday, August 16th at 10 a.m. The whole family is welcome. And there's challah for the high holidays, a demonstration of several challah braiding techniques, and you'll leave with enough dough to make 2 challahs at home. You can choose to attend on Monday, August 24th at 6:30, or Wednesday, September 2nd at 11:30 in the Messing Auditorium. My wife, Sherry, has done this several times, and she said it's fun, informative, and delicious. These events, all services, programs, and more can be found in our Sunday e-blast, our digital bulletin, and our congregational calendar on our website. Thank you for our tech team for making it possible for us to hear, for everybody to hear and be together virtually tonight. Please check our website or call the office for gift shop hours. Have a good Shabbat and rest of the summer. Prayers for Dr. Fauci. And I had an old friend that used to live in Memphis. His name was Elvis, and Elvis always used to say to me, "Thank you very much," so thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Grant.
Shabbat Shalom. Based off of that slip of the tongue about congressional, I take it you voted this past Tuesday, so I hope everyone did. Voting is a good thing, an important thing to do. Also, in case you're worrying, there is a Whiskey and Wisdom for Elul. You can also sign up for that. It's just later in the month than it often is, and I hope to see many of you there. But you also got the sense that as we are celebrating Sandy's 85th birthday, this is our Shabbat to celebrate all our congregational birthdays for August. And so as I read your name, I'm going to invite you to rise so that we can recognize you. And so, just making sure I got all the dates. The first one we have is August 12th. Barry Krell is turning 80. Mazel tov. Happy birthday, Barry. And a couple days later, on the 14th, Sherilyn is turning 78. Happy birthday. I only say the number if they put it on here, by the way. As we already recognized, on August 19th, Sandy Becker is turning 85 years young. Happy birthday. And a day later, on August 20th, Susan Becker is turning 80 plus, is what is written here. Happy birthday as well. Then on August 22nd, Mark Weber will be celebrating his birthday. Happy birthday. And right at the end of the month, on the 31st, Barry Kessler will be celebrating his birthday. Happy birthday, Barry. Did I miss any August birthdays? Anyone? Yeah, Eileen, happy birthday. When is the birthday? It's okay. It's okay. Happy birthday. And so I'm going to have you all stand. We have another birthday. What date? 14th. Another 14th. We've got a pair there then. Any other birthdays? If you're celebrating a birthday at home, be sure to stand because this blessing is for you as well. And so I offer you all this blessing. Yehi darkechem mivorach. May your way be blessed. Ya'er alechem or ha'chochma. May wisdom's light shine upon you. Yitain lachem mas'echem shalom. May your journey bring you peace. And together we all say, Amen. And of course, we wish you all, Ad Mea V'Esrim, may you live to be 120 years old. And rather than sitting down, I'm going to invite everyone to stand up with our birthday people, and we will join together in the Aleinu on page 586. And as I often remind us, this prayer is meant to remind us that what we do here in the sanctuary doesn't stay here, but should carry with us into the rest of our lives and the rest of Shabbat and the rest of our week as well.
Page 586. Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon ha'kol, la'tet gedula le'yotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kegoye ha'aratzot, velo samanu ki mishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam, va'anachnu korim, ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. Page 591. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו, ושמו, ושמו אחד.
Be seated. On page 592. When I die, give what's left of me away to children and old men that wait to die. And if you need to cry, cry for your brother walking the street beside you. And when you need me, put your arms around anyone and give them what you need to give me. I want to leave you something better than words or sounds. Look for me in the people I've known or loved. And if you cannot give me away, at least let me live in your eyes and not in your mind. You can love me best by letting hands touch hands, by letting bodies touch bodies, and by letting go of children that need to be free. Love doesn't die, people do. So when all that's left of me is love, give me away. The heartfelt condolences of our congregation goes out to the family of Linny Jean Nieder, for whom we are in just this first week's period of Shiva, of mourning. We also remember those who have died in the past 30 days, as we remember for Shloshim, Joyce Berger, Regina Frederick, Lawrence Larry Goldman, Susan Heller, Dr. Stephen Schneiderman, and Stephen Schur. So too do we recall those who died at this time in seasons past, as we remember for Yahrzeit, Donald Abrams, Barney Abramsky, Abraham Arbetter, Fanny Barnholtz, Anna Bernstein, Pearl Ina Block, Minnie Breimer, Saul Claris, Gladys Cohen, Rachel Simons Crown, Sam Davis, Ruth May Feldman, Sam Feldman, Max Gelfenbaum, James M. Ginsberg, Jacob Goldman, Diane Goldsmith, Jack M. Goldstein, Ada Goodman, Joseph Gordon, Richard Hilton, Frank Hilton, Ellis German, Libetta Libby Katz, Sue Clow, Michael E. Kopman, Eva Korngold, Phil Magidson, Max R. Marion, Louisa Mayer, Milton Myers, Herman Millstone, Edith Fisher Norton, Dr. Paul M. Packman, Beverly Opper Rosenberg, Jeanette Rotenberg, Joe Samuelson, Ingram Samuelson, Molly Sandberg, Jacob N. Sapin, Milton Schramm, Eva Schauer, Michael J. Spielberg, Selma Stockman, Bernard J. Stockman, Joseph Strauss, Fred Suffian, William Trugman, May Walpert, David Weil, Elaine Wilansky, and Audrey L. Wolkowitz. If you're remembering a loved one whose name was not read, I invite you to share their name out loud now as well. And now I invite anyone who is marking a yahrzeit or remembering a loved one to stand so we might recognize their memory. Zichronam livracha, may their memories forever be a blessing. And now I invite everyone to rise and stand with our mourners as we join together as one community and one family of humanity in the Mourner's Kaddish on page 598. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma divra chirte v'yamlich malchute, B'chayechon uvyomechon, uvchaye dechol Beit Yisrael, Bagala v'zman kari v'imru amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mivarach le'olam olamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yithalal shemei dekudesha barichu le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba min Shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'el kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Osei shalom b'mromav Hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'el kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all Israel, and to all who mourn, to which we say, Amen. Amen. And as we conclude our service this evening, Again, Shabbat is meant to be a time of joy, an oneg Shabbat, a celebration of Shabbat. And so we'll have a dessert oneg following our service. What I'll invite you to do is turn to the left and head to our Kaplansky Center to join in some sweetness of Shabbat. Again, one more reminder that if you want to write a wonderful note to Ophir, I invite you to add it to the book that's sitting right outside these main doors. And as we conclude our service, we'll be concluding with a song that I'm not sure is so familiar here at United Hebrew, but it's one that I love, and I think it relates deeply to the message I gave earlier. You can find it on page 663. It's Livracha. It says for us, for blessing and not for curse, for plenty and not scarcity, for life and not for death. Again, this is not that we choose between those two. It's the reality that we have all of them. It's part of life. And what we choose is which one to focus on. Livracha.
Livracha velo niklala, lesova velo lerazon. Livracha velo niklala, livracha velo niklala, lesova velo lerazon. Livracha velo niklala, לחיים ולא למוות, לחיים, לחיים. Livracha, try it with us. Livracha ולא בקללה, לסובה ולא לרזון, livracha ולא לקללה. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It's not something we're great at doing in this